Last week, FaithLife, the company behind Logos Bible Software, announced that they were acquiring WORDsearch, owned by LifeWay. This is good news, not just for Logos Bible Software users, but also for WORDsearch users. In this video, we'll talk about why and get all the details. Coming up right after this. This video is sponsored by Logos Bible Software. Now, it seems strange talking about Logos Bible Software and we're talking about them acquiring another company. They didn't ask me to do this video. I've had no input from them. This is really just my opinions talking about why this is such a good thing. I really appreciate them for supporting this channel, and I use their software every day, have done for 20-ish years now. And I really want to encourage you to go ahead and get a copy if you don't already have one. And you can do that by going to mntg.me/logos down the bottom. Now, if you're a WordSearch user and you've never purchased Logos Bible Software before, you don't have to do that. You just got a free copy. And you should find that out by just checking your email, which you'll probably get in the next day or so. Anyway, so let's get into it. A few weeks ago, when I published my review of Beginning with New Testament Greek by Dr. Benjamin Merkel and Rob Plummer, I mentioned in that video that this was not going to be available on Logos Bible Software. Within an hour or two of publishing that video, I received emails from Dr. Plummer himself and also from Broadman and Holman, the publisher, saying yes, it actually will be available on Logos Bible Software. Great news, I thought. That's wonderful. And not only that, but Going Deeper with New Testament Greek was also going to be made available on Logos Bible Software. This is great. But the news came last week that Logos was actually, or FaithLife, the company behind Logos, was actually acquiring the entirety of the WordSearch platform, which means the desktop software, the mobile software, the web app, the whole thing, the whole shooting match. And with that comes the opportunity for them, as part of the agreement, to publish everything published by Broadman and Holman. And this is really good news. We're going to touch a bit more on that in just a moment. But before we do that, let me give you a quick background on WordSearch Bible Software. In 1987, Dr. Jim Sneeringer started writing what became known as WordSearch Bible Software. He worked on it on his own for a little bit. Then he eventually went into an agreement with NavPress Software, which I believe is related to the Navigators. They had a software wing at some stage. They ended up marketing the WordSearch program for a little while. A couple of years later, Dr. Sneeringer ended up purchasing the whole NavPress wing and taking that on, and then just kind of worked along those lines for a while. In 2003, WordSearch purchased another company which had a piece of software called Bible Explorer. That was then licensed by WordSearch to LifeWay. So the relationship between LifeWay and WordSearch went all the way back to 2003. But then in May of 2010, WordSearch acquired Quickverse, which was started pretty much in the same time as what WordSearch was actually started. In fact, fun fact here, Craig Reardon, the original writer of Quickverse, originally called Quickverse Logos, but the name was scrapped and replaced with Quickverse instead. Fast forward to 2011, May 2011, and WordSearch acquired Quickverse. But the following month, WordSearch itself is acquired by LifeWay, and LifeWay runs along with this from that date through to, well, last week, basically. Now, along the way, LifeWay has managed to continue to maintain the WordSearch platform, continue to develop it, but not at the same pace that other software platforms are working at. So LifeWay, a publishing company, has been moonlighting as a software company for the last decade or so, working alongside of people with really much more expertise and specialty in software development in a market that is getting more and more competitive. And so that it gets harder and harder for a publishing company to continue to invest in the software platform in the way that it really needs to be competitive. The competition is getting more and more fierce, and so it costs more to actually compete, which means, and this is what we've seen, is that the WordSearch platform has actually stagnated by comparison to a lot of the other platforms that are out there. Now, that's not to say that it didn't have a place. One of the things about companies and products such as WordSearch is that they often appeal to pretty basic users. But then you're still competing with products such as YouVersion and other software products that are designed for end users rather than for scholars and for pastors. And so it's getting harder to compete, and therefore at some stage some of these organizations and publishing companies in particular have had to make the hard decision to offload this element of their business. For what it's worth, Zondervan Bible Software did this in 2009 as well. And so B&H is another publishing company putting aside the software hat, so to speak, and giving that over to a specialized company. And this is really one reason why this is good news, because now the publishing company, LifeWay, is now able to focus its resources on doing what it does best, publishing good products. And this is good for us, because that means that in the future, hopefully we're going to see a lot more high quality resources, such as, beginning with New Testament Greek, from B&H in the future. Now, another reason this is good news is that if you've been like me and you've purchased some resources inside WordSearch, for instance, and you want to use those electronically because in New Zealand or some other non-American country, it's actually hard to get these resources shipped to you and you can't find them in local bookstores. Anyway, if you're in that situation and you use these electronically, you would have had two pieces of software up at the same time to work from. And you'll be looking between the two, and that means that you're going to have to run the same search on both sides. It's just a little frustrating to do that. And so one of the big benefits for Logos users is that now all those resources are going to come into Logos Bible Software. Now, if you're a WordSearch user, you're actually not going to be losing much either. Now, yes, WordSearch is a little, if you're used to it, you've been using it for a while, you'll be more used to that, and there's going to be a bit of a learning curve as you cross over to Logos Bible Software. But Logos Bible Software gives you a lot more features and capability than what you get in WordSearch. For example, there are visual filters inside Logos Bible Software, which I actually use quite a lot. This is the ability to do a visual representation, so basically automatically highlight any given word. You can highlight by the kind of word it is. You can highlight the word automatically based on whether it's an aorist, active, indicative, third person singular, or a participle, or a particular root, or whatever you want. And it's really powerful. So you can actually just show all of the infinitives in a particular text of passage, which means it makes those really easy to look at, and you can start to analyze how the infinitives are being used by perhaps a certain author. Really cool feature, not available in WordSearch, but it is available in Logos Bible Software. You've also got other features like the theology guide, and there's a number of data sets like the people's data set that you've got in Logos Bible Software that, again, you just don't have those kinds of resources inside of WordSearch. So you're going to get more features if you're a WordSearch user by going over to Logos than you would if you stayed with WordSearch. The only things you're really going to lose as a WordSearch user are Lesson Maker and Sermon Illustrator, and Logos is actively looking at how they can put those features into an upcoming version of Logos Bible Software as well. So you may actually end up losing nothing by losing WordSearch and gaining everything by going to Logos Bible Software. Sounds like good news to me. Now, I have mentioned a couple of times here that this means that there are going to be a number of new resources made available on Logos Bible Software. What's happening is, as part of the deal, Logos and Broadman and Holman are going to be working together so that the entire Broadman and Holman catalog is available on Logos Bible Software. Now, I've already mentioned that that includes things like going deeper with New Testament Greek and beginning with New Testament Greek. Great news for Greek nerds like me so far. But there's more. There are resources like this one. This is probably the one that I am the most excited about, the Exegetical Guide to the Greek New Testament. A few weeks ago, probably a couple of months ago now, I actually did a guide to all the exegetical guides available on the market and said that this was a really, really good option. And one of the reasons this is such a good option is that it provides preaching outlines based on the Greek text. Oh my goodness, if you're a pastor and you're not using these are a great resource to make sure that your sermons are driven by the Greek text. So you want to get a hold of these. Having these come into Logos is just so good. And I want to encourage you to get a copy of this if you don't already have that inside of Logos Bible Software. Now, there are a few of these available from FaithLife at the moment, but they're available on FaithLife ebooks, which means they don't have page numbers and they don't have all the linking in them. Those are all going to be transferred over so that they're all going to be full Logos resources. And if you already own these on WordSearch, you will find that as these are published on Logos, they will automatically be unlocked for you inside of Logos Bible Software. That's pretty cool. Now, that's not the only resource. We've also got the latest edition of Ray Summers' Essentials of the New Testament Greek coming. We've got an older edition. The revised edition is already on Logos, but this new version is not. That is also coming, and you can find a link to my review of this just up here as well. But there's some other resources, such as From Hermeneutics to Exegesis, and also this one here. This is a Hebrew grammar by Dwayne Garrett. This is kind of a cool Hebrew grammar. It's pretty good. I like this grammar. This is also coming to Logos Bible Software as well. So, lots of good things. Now, those are just the resources available from Broadman and Holman. One of the things I didn't expect and wasn't really looking for is that there are other resources from other publishers that are also available in WordSearch, and they will also be coming over to Logos Bible Software. And this includes things like Warren Trenchard's Complete Vocabulary Guide to the Greek New Testament, which is probably one of the better vocabulary guides available on the internet, apart from, of course, from Master New Testament Greek, which you can find links to up here as well. But this is not the only one. There's other resources coming from other publishers as well. And it seems that what's happened is that the agreement between WordSearch and between those publishers to publish those resources is transferable, and therefore Logos now has the option to not only put them inside of Logos, but then to sell them as well. So, great news for all of us. It just expands Logos's library, and also if you already own them on WordSearch, you get those given to you automatically because you've already bought them once. The other thing I should mention about all of this, you might be going, well, what about, this is all wonderful, but it's going to take a long time to do all of these books. Well, Logos have publicly stated that they are going to transfer these books over by the end of this year, which is phenomenal. So we are going to have a much larger and richer Logos library by the end of this year as a result of this purchase. So this is great news for all of us. There are a couple of things I just want to address. If you have a Logos account already and you have a WordSearch account already and they're both using the same email address, then one of the good things about this is that they just matched your accounts up. So what that means is that you should already have, if the books in WordSearch are available on Logos already, you should already see them inside your Logos library. You shouldn't have to do any more work for that. But if you have two different accounts, that is, you have on WordSearch an account with one email address and Logos an account with another email address, well, in that case, you're going to end up with two Logos accounts, and you can have those merged. And you can just email customer support, cs@logos.com, I think it is, to have them do that for you. If books aren't yet available on Logos, and they are available on WordSearch, but they're coming, like such as the EGG&T series, then what's going to happen is that they'll be unlocked now, but you won't see them until they're actually published on Logos, and they'll automatically be added to your library later on. So again, it's pretty cool, just being able to see these books just coming online bit by bit as we go through the rest of this year. The only other question is, if I'm a WordSearch user, what about my notes? Are they going to come over? Well, the answer is kind of. Yes, they will eventually come over. Logos is going to work on bringing those over by the end of the beginning of 2021 or sometime early in 2021, but they won't be coming over initially. They will be putting together an export feature so you can export your notes, but I'm not sure what the time frame is on that as well. If you have more questions about this, then there is actually an FAQ, which is a frequently asked questions list that Logos have made available online, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below, so check that link out down there as well. Let me ask you this as we wrap up this video: does this acquisition affect you in any way? Do you have any books on WordSearch that you're looking forward to having come over to Logos Bible Software? If you don't, are there any works that are published perhaps by Broadman and Holman that perhaps you're looking forward to being able to purchase on Logos Bible Software? Well, leave a message in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you and see what books you're looking forward to below as well. There's a lot that I haven't mentioned in this video that you may well be looking forward to. If you want to learn biblical Greek and you don't really want to be tied to Bible software, you want to read from a physical Bible, then check out my free roadmap to mastery at masterntgreek.com/roadmap, and that way you can find out about how you can go from wherever you are right now to being able to fluently read the New Testament in the original language. Thanks so much for watching this video. Until the next video, keep taking small, consistent steps toward mastery, and I look forward to seeing you in the near future. We'll see you then.